Afternoon, Nige back here again with another inbox review, and today we're going to be looking at Tamiya's Fairey Swordfish Mark II, or the old string bag. So this is 1/48. I've been after one of these for quite some time. Not that it's a rare kit, but it can be a little bit more expensive. So without further ado, I'll put you on the overhead and we'll get cracking. So as always, we start with the actual instruction manual. Okay, you get a bit of a write-up in 3 different languages with the Tamiya. It's that normal Tamiya booklet type. Then move into the caution parts. Then we've got the paints in Tamiya paints, different tools to use, and the extra part you can get in photo etch for this kit. And then we've got 3 marking options. We start off with the cockpit. Okay, so we've got the main cockpit going together. Before we move on to the floor of the cockpit and what looks like the observer's radio person's part with his little like stool. But that's fun. Okay, sat in that for any length of time. Before then we attach some more parts to this. I'm just having a look at it. I think this sits over the top of that, but I'm not certain. Okay, so it might be the it's machine gun mount. Okay, so this is, I didn't realize that this is a 3-seater or 3-crew aircraft. We've then that goes attached to the top of this framing, which I must have missed. Yes, it's there. Blind as a bat, Nigel. Okay, we've then got the 3 pilots, the 3 crew. So we have our pilot itself, the machine gunner, and the actual radio operator. Okay, we've then got move on to the let's have a look at this. So we've got the instrument panel. Okay, and then what looks like a machine gun gets attached to that instrument panel there. So it's got a forward firing machine gun and a rear firing machine gun. Before we then join the fuselage together, then we've got the tail, the control surfaces going together. Before we move on to the actual strengthening bars and the rear arrestor hook part, fillet that goes onto the tail. We're then moving on to the engine. Okay, so 1 bank of cylinders, and this is where it's showing you where you can get the extra photo etch. We've then add all the control parts to the engine, rods and all that sort of stuff, and mount that into the engine cowling. We then got the mount for the upper wing and some extra what looks like radiators or cooling fins, the extra fuel tank, so the fuel tank can go in place of the observer. We then got the lower wings mounting to the fuselage, big strengthening bars on both sides. Before then we start looking at the wings themselves. So we have this central bit, okay, that fits on the top. All right, we then move on to the wings themselves. So you've got the upper wing and the lower wing, which then gets mounted together with some bracing bars like so, and you will have what they'll be the extra parts. Okay, so the bracing, I don't know, the bracing wires or rods. Before we then move on to some photo etch that tells you where to put. So these parts you could, if you haven't got the photo etch, you could use some string or something like that. We then got the exhaust and the wing mounted rockets and bombs that go on there. So this aircraft can actually carry quite a lot of things with it. I'm not sure whether this is a torpedo one or whether it comes with a torpedo. Okay, then adding the wheels to the actual fuselage before we then move on to whether we want the wings extended or folded. We've got some, we've got the torpedo rack, but it doesn't come with a torpedo. Okay, but we've got some flare dispensers. That's what they look like anyway. And then we move on to adding the propeller, some radio aerials before we go into marking and painting. So we've got A from 1943-44. There we've got the upper and lower surfaces. B from HMS Tracker 1943, and Tanzania from 1942. Okay, so we'll move on to the big colour call out that Tamiya give you. Okay, so you can see there, and I think this is going to be the size of the actual aircraft, so you could in theory cut this out to do your markings. Okay, so you've got upper and lower wing and the different colours. Moving on to the plastic. Okay, now it doesn't mention about the torpedo, okay, but as you can see down there, we've got two sprues. Okay, these two sprues have one half of the torpedo, and then bombs, rockets, rocket racks, the smaller bombs are what they look like. Okay, and you can just see some nice detail on that torpedo. As you would expect with Tamiya, all really sharp, no flash or anything on there. We then have upper and lower wing parts, or two wing parts. Okay, so we've got one of the wing parts here, another one there. We've got the bracing, we get some of the wheels, the fillet for the arrestor hook, some more bracing just over here. Okay, all looking really nice. We've got some nice tire markings actually on the tires. The fabric surfaces look really nice on there. And again, it's Tamiya, so we shouldn't really have any issues with this whatsoever. And then another part. Okay, so we've got some more of the bracing, the struts for the wings. We've got the belly plate for the aircraft and the start of the central part of the wings. That's the part that goes over the top, and again some really nice fabric detail on that. Moving on to the fuselage and the clear parts. Okay, so we've got some struts on the inside. Now, how much of these injection pin marks be able to be seen, I don't know. Okay, but again, you can see the struts and the internal framing of the fuselage, and the tail looks really nice. Metal parts of the nose, some more struts, part of the exhaust, propeller, the three fellas. Okay, so you can put pilots in it. Nice little toaster in the what looks like their winter flying overalls. And we move on to parts of the engine cowling and the engine itself. So you can see this really nice tubular frame here and here. Okay, we have the cockpit floor, and that where the bit that goes on top of the tubing, the instrument panel, engines, cowling ring, seats, radios, all looking really nice. Upper wings, so you can see how much bigger these are than the lower wings. Okay, and again, some really nice detail showing off the ribbons of those wings and the fabric on there. And then one small part, which is the extra fuel tank, another one of those radiators, the flare chutes, and some of the aerial parts just there. Clear parts, not that many, so I'm not going to take them out, just the main windscreen, and again that looks really nice. And then we move on to the decals. Tamiya decals, okay, though they are quite thick, they look really nice, okay. Interesting that there's only seat belts for 2 of the people actually in there, but other than that they look quite nice. So that's Tamiya's Swordfish Mark II. Really nice looking kit. Like I said, I've been after one of these for a while, and with it being Tamiya, it should build up really nice, so I can concentrate on maybe doing all the bracing wires and all that sort of stuff. Maybe look at see if I can make some turnbuckles. I doubt it, but you never know. No, I mean looking doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do it, but yeah. Anyway, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.